till I go to bed. Oh, baby, you're always in my head. All I ask for is a love that ease my mind. You got to work your love.
Next on this project, pretty much we're going to be removing all the smog equipment. Pretty much the owner doesn't want it with any of the smog equipment, so we're going to remove all of that for you guys. It's pretty straightforward. You're going to need a box of vacuum caps that you can buy at any local automotive shop. We're going to need a vacuum cap off a lot of these lines because they're going to be pretty much useless. They don't work for anything on the car for any type of performance. They're strictly just for smog specifications and smog requirements. So we're going to give you guys a walkthrough on how to cap them off and buy the appropriate resistor kit for them. Here is where the charcoal canister goes. Your secondary vacuum lines here. We're going to be removing your N249 setup here, which controls your diverter valve and wastegate functionality, and your combi valve hoses, which are right here, that go all the way to the side of the engine here. We're also going to be making our own combi valve block-off plate. Save ourselves 20 bucks. It costed me like $5 to make one for him. Very, very simple, and then we'll give you guys a DIY on that as well. But for now, this is what we're going to be removing. For the combi valve removal, there's 3 bolts right here at the very bottom. You're going to need to remove the water flange or the heater hose clamp. Either way you can take off, because since we're pulling the motor out, might as well take off the heater flange, since we're going to redo everything, make sure this engine runs beautifully. But there's 3 bolts here that hold this combi valve in place. Once you get those 3 bolts off, follow the lines, and right over here there's 210 that hold the combi valve SAI hose, and then there's 2 Allen wrenches here that you're going to require to remove the vacuum setup underneath. Alright, good morning YouTubers. I'm going to give you guys a quick recap on what we did yesterday, and we did it in 3 hours actually. We timed it. We've actually removed the wire harness, the AC system out of the car. We've taken the heater system, or the cooling system, out. Fueling as well. As you can see right over here, all the fuel lines are disconnected with the coolant line. We've already removed the exhaust downpipe bolts, so all that's left to take this engine out will be the motor mounts, which use an 18 and a 16. I will give you guys a walkthrough on how to take these off safely and properly. You must use a cherry picker if you guys want to take this engine out safely without ruining or damaging anything off the car. There will be some other motor mounts right here at the bottom. Bolts. You need to disconnect the power steering. This is also held together by a 10mm bolt right over here. You'll see where my finger is pointing. There's a bolt there as well that holds that in place. What I'm going to do today, this fine morning, will be removing the axle. Which are held together by triple square bits. And I'll get you guys down here. You'll see right here on the axle, there's 6 of these triple square bits right here. You just got to remove them. They don't have to be, the axles don't have to be taken out of off the car. Just remove them so you can slide the engine out. There's 6 of them. Now there's a trick to these. If you're going to do this by yourself, you want to grab like a little short flathead screwdriver. You have your wheels on still, and on the other side of the axle, see over here, you'll see your caliper, and on the side of the caliper, if you see this right here, there's my finger. On the side of the caliper, there's a hole. You want to cram like a small flathead screwdriver in there, and that'll brace the
that'll brace the axle from spinning, pretty much. It'll prevent it from spinning. I'm sorry, guys. It'll prevent it. So when you start removing the actual bolts here, you can do 2 at a time, and then take the axle off. And we're gonna start that in just a minute.
It's just another night.
Alright guys, these are going to be the tools you're going to be needing. Flathead screwdriver, 1/2-inch socket, if you guys want to. I mean, that's what I like to use. And a 13mm socket on top of that. Some Mark IVs are going to use an M10 or an M12 triple square bits here. I recommend that you pick these up like at AutoZone, O'Reilly's, or Napa. These are getting more and more common to purchase nowadays. You don't have to buy any special tools for them. I picked them up for about 15 bucks for the set. They will save your life on removing axles on Volkswagens in general. So the first thing you need to do is take your flathead screwdriver, cram it into the rotor here. So that way you prevent the axle from spinning. And this is all because you're going to do this on your own. If you had a buddy with you, have him press on the brakes and take the axle off, alright? We're only going to remove the axle because we don't need to take it off completely. We're just taking the axle off the transmission. So once you get this in there, get your socket, go into the axle and remove the 6 bolts. It's very, very straightforward. Alright guys, the next step is to get pretty much the power steering completely out of the way. Right here, you'll see a little hole. There's a 10mm extremely long bolt that goes into it. This bad boy right here. Just use a 10mm socket with an extension on it and a deep socket, so you guys can take this one out. Pull that straight up. I will reveal pretty much the motor mount for you. Here it is right here. You're going to need a 16 and an 18 to remove this. You're also going to need a 13 socket right here to remove this this little bracket that holds the motor mount as well. Then a Phillips to remove the reservoir. There's 2 bolts, 2 Phillips screws right here. One there on the right and one here on the left. Can't miss it. Once you take those 2 off, the reservoir will pull up. There's going to be another one, another little clamp right here at the bottom. It's extremely easy to remove. Alright guys, that's it for this part. Now that the reservoir is taken out, you can see the motor mount completely now. It's a lot easier to get to. Remember, a 16, a 16, 18, and 18. That's the motor mount. Complete assembly removal on the left hand side. On the driver's side, there's a catch to this one. You got to take off the main wire harness tray out. So the little flathead screwdriver, if you guys have one with you, just pry here and here, take the weather strip out, and you'll be able to pull this whole tray out. There's going to be a 16 here, a 16 on the right, and a 16 right up in front. And of course, 2 18s here that hold the motor mount assembly completely there. Once those 2 are out, the engine just drops and comes right out. Remember to use a cherry picker. If you don't have a cherry picker, you can also use 2 jacks. It's extremely risky, but I don't advise it. I've done it before by myself, and it's not the best. I learned from my mistakes, guys. That's why I'm showing you guys how to do it properly. We will get to the cherry pickers on its way, so we can pull this engine out, and you guys get to see it. It's gonna be pretty cool, guys. So just remember, if you forget how to do this whole job, just follow our other videos. This is a full DIY, so I hope you guys understand that. This is to do a whole Franken turbo F23 turbo kit on a 1.8T Mark IV GTI. This will help you guys do it yourself, and the whole point of this is to show you guys how to do it in your driveway.
Alright guys, we started doing the motor mount removal. As you can see right over here, we're taking the black cover off. You'll see there's a hole here exposed to expose the first 16 bolt on the motor mount. Right down here is the other one, the second one. And then if we move our hand, there's a third one right behind here. Let's see if I can get this out of the way. There you go, there's the third one. And that's how you remove the motor mount on the right hand side. As you can see, we got our cherry picker in. So it's holding the engine up with a chain. There's two mounting points on your actual car for this chain. One right here, it's a black bracket. You can't miss it, your engine cover sits on it. And then where your engine stamp is at, will be right over here. You'll see this is a 2003, so it says AWP on it, and it has a hole right through it. We just hook our chain right through it, and that's it. Support the engine up. Make sure that the engine actually gets pulled up, not having any tension on the chains. These chains are pretty solid on there, so that means the engine's being held. Because once the motor mounts come off, the engine will pretty much be free. We want to be careful so the engine doesn't swing or hurt anybody. Alright, you guys will see the engine being pulled in just a couple of minutes. Alright guys, engine's out, as you can see. No more engine in the car. Life is so much easier with a cherry picker. Engine's right over here on the right. Just keep in mind, as you can see how we have it set up, it's tilted and it comes out a lot easier when you tilt the engine out like this. We wanted to preserve the AC, so it's a little bit more work to get the engine out to when you preserve the AC system in the car. As you can see, AC is still 100% intact, no bends, no anything. Just be very careful because you can bend this line very, very easily, taking the engine out and putting it back in. Putting it in is the exact same method taking it out, just the reverse. It's not that difficult, okay? Once you have the engine out, I recommend, if it's hot outside, let it cook in the sun. Let it heat up, because we're going to degrease this bad boy, make it look like a brand new motor. And we're swapping the turbo out. Like I was telling you, this is a F23 turbo kit that we're going to be putting in. So it's going to be a nice build. I'm trying to make 300 of the wheels. And make this car shine like it was a brand new car engine, you know? This is a 6-speed, 1.8T, so it's going to have a very different fitment if you have a 5-speed transmission. It's going to be a little bit tighter, but it's doable, guys. Alright? We'll give you guys the next walkthrough when we get to that point. Very soon, we're going to start degreasing this guy. We'll give you guys a walkthrough on how to fully degrease your engine and make it shine like brand new and paint it properly. There you go.